Hare Krishna. We'll start, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. No plans. जगन्नाथ बलदेव रमण की जय.
वो बंद करेगा.
हरे कृष्णा. गिरिगोवर्धन की जय. नरसिंह भगवान की जय. गुरु परंपरा की जय. Let us say the prayers. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishnaprasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarane. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we'll continue the second chapter, contents of the Gita summarized, and today's verse is 2.14. Let us recite the verse. Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkadaha agamapayino nityas tam sitikshava tatikshasva bharata. O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance and happiness and distress and the disappearance in due course are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception, O scion of Bharata, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. This is very important words, tolerate them without being disturbed. So, welcome all of you, Prabhu's Matajis. Thank you very much for joining and keeping up the appointment with Krishna. So, it's so glorious to glorify the Lord early in the morning. No? So, hearing Krishna Katha. So, Bhagavad Gita. So, this chapter is very, very important. And especially talks about the soul. No? Especially yesterday, the verse, Dehinosmin Ataya Dehe, is a very, very important verse. Because from there, we can come to know the absolute importance of the soul. Because we always want to be eternal, permanent, right? We always want to be young. That is actually the quality of the soul, right? But nothing to do with the body. But the body changes. It becomes it's the youth, and then boy, youth, then old age, right? And next body, like that. And in this current verse, in the purport, Prabhupada very nicely mentions, according to Vedic injunctions, one has to take his bath early in the morning, even during the month of January, February, Magha. It is very cold at that time. But in spite of that, a man who abides by the religious principles does not hesitate to take his bath. Correct? When it's cold, also to take. Similarly, a woman does not hesitate to cook in the kitchen in the months of May and June, the hottest part of the summer season. So one has to execute his duty in spite of climatic inconveniences. So similarly, Prabhupada says to fight is the religious principle of the Kshatriya. So that's what he is trying to inform us through this verse. See, while going through the instructions of the 4 Kumaras to Prithu Maharaj in Srimad Bhagavatam, I came across a very thought-provoking verse, 4th canto, 22nd chapter, 24th verse, where the Sanat Kumaras say, please hear carefully, a candidate for spiritual advancements must be non-violent, must follow in the footsteps of great acharyas, must always remember the nectar of the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, must follow the regulatory principles without material desire, and while following the regulatory principles, should not blaspheme others. A devotee should lead a very simple life and not be disturbed by the duality of opposing elements. He should learn to tolerate them. So each and every quality specified in this verse is important for our spiritual advancement. See, outwardly we might be following the regulatory principles of devotion. But simultaneously, if we keep blaspheming others, criticizing others, fault finding, then there is no chance for progress in bhakti. So by such criticism, we are just increasing our credits in the sinful action of our life. So the reality of this material life is that day in and day out, we would be placed with so many varieties of
Please continue. Hare Krishna.
Yes, thank you, bro. Sorry, bro. So Prabhupada is advising Arjuna to tolerate. So he very nicely says, no, there is no need to lament when we are sick. We might not be able to pursue our regular day-to-day activities. But if we tolerate the pain for some time, then we will be able to realize the sickness is also a blessing in disguise. This is offered by the Supreme Lord, so that we could spend more quality time in chanting and other activities of devotional service. So this verse is a solution to threefold miseries. If we think carefully, we have no solution to Adhyatmik, Adibhautik and Adidevic kleshas, problems. So the only way to face them is to tolerate them. And same is told by Krishna here in that all the happiness that we get in our life and all kinds of distress are temporary. So they appear and disappear, just like summer and winter seasons. So we should learn to tolerate them. This is a very important word that you should understand. See, in this age of supercomputers, right? We have learned everything to earn our bread and butter. People around us are still busy in learning new things to quench their thirst of knowledge. But actual application of learning lies in practicing them. So today, parents teach their kids all academic knowledge. They also teach them moral etiquettes. They are concerned in teaching them some extracurricular activities, like art, sports, and many more things, as per their own interest. But they forget one thing. They forget to teach their kids how to face the problems of life, which is the most important lesson to be learned. Kids learn on their own as and when they get good and bad experiences. And this is Kali Yuga. A child without training is thrown into the world of miseries. The child's struggle starts as soon as he or she enters the school, leaving the shelter of their parents, even if it is 3 or 4 hours a day. The child starts learning many things on his own. And as soon as the child is out of the house, he is out of control of his parents. So what to do? So what do the parents do at this stage? They cannot monitor them 24/7. So here the Vedic culture comes into picture. Unfortunately, today's modern families have forgotten this Vedic culture. And the Vedic culture is to train the child in spiritual injunctions. Vedic culture is to enlighten the child about possible problems out there in the world and the techniques of facing them. So this verse in Bhagavad Gita clearly states that there is no solution to certain problems. Only thing we can do is tolerate them. And this is the knowledge that needs to be given to the new generation. So then they do not get into depression, anxiety, or any other problems, which can result in very difficult situation in the future. So all of us are searching for happiness in every action of ours before understanding that this Krishna consciousness, right? For example, when we are searching for job, we are in great anxiety that when will I get a job? This is one kind of distress. After getting job, we forget the previous distress condition and expect the happiness in getting the salary. If we can recollect, in the beginning of our career, when we got our first month's salary, we would have enjoyed that moment a lot. You were thinking, yes, finally I have achieved this happiness. After months, some months, not even years, we would have compared our salary with our colleagues and started feeling, when will we come to that position and get that much salary? That means what we have achieved or earned is not giving us real happiness now. Again, distress started. In the flow of mental happiness and distress is going like this forever. So such happiness and distress are non-permanent. So these things disappear in due course of time. We never try to forget, but eventually we have forgotten the happiness and distress which we attained so far. Even we have forgotten our lovable persons, who have disappeared from this world. If we ask ourselves, when did we forget, or whether we made a special endeavor to forget? The answer for both these questions is no. Krishna in the form of time is so powerful that he makes us forget these things in due course of time, even without our knowledge. See, after searching in so many areas, why haven't we found the real happiness? This is because we are thinking that we are this body and we are searching happiness through our senses. We do not know where the real happiness is available. For example, when we are thirsty, if we pour water on the body instead of drinking it, will it satisfy our thirst? No. But we can feel some chillness or cooling on our body for a short time, and our thirst will remain as it is. But when we drink water and it reaches our stomach, then we will not feel thirsty. Similarly, we are as Jivatmas. We can experience a real happiness in devotional service when we actually begin to perform the same. But all the other services which we do for the satisfaction of our senses will result only in happiness and distress, which are temporary in nature. So all the material activities will impact only the senses. Only Krishna Bhakti will touch the soul, which is transcendental to material activities. So all our mental happiness and distress arise from sense perception. And we don't have any business with that. So long as we are living in this world, which is dukkhalayam, we are bound to face miseries and happiness. But whether we want to suffer or enjoy is optional. If we choose to listen to words of the Lord and practice tolerance, then we will be peaceful. But if we choose otherwise, then we'll always be disturbed. So Krishna is advising us to tolerate the material happiness and distress without being disturbed. That's what he says. Tolerance is itself is very difficult. Then what to speak of without being disturbed? So our tendency is always to think about the problems when we are suffering. So how can we follow Lord Krishna's instructions? Prabhupada very beautifully gives the solution. 4:30:18 Bhagavatam. If one is engaged in devotional service, however, he becomes unattached to all kinds of material enjoyment and suffering. How can one be involved in devotional service when he is in trouble? For that, we require good guidance. Without guidance, no one can learn anything. Same way, one has to surrender to the spiritual master to learn devotional service. From that, one can learn tolerance without being disturbed. That's why Prabhupada, again in 4:9:25 Bhagavatam, he says, one should take shelter of a bona fide liberated soul, the spiritual master, and gradually elevate himself to the spiritual platform and thus become detached from the material world. That's why acharyas like Prabhupada, they have practically shown this through their lives. Even when they have had severe bodily pains, they took shelter of holy names, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and Krishna, and showed us how by strength of devotional service, it is indeed possible to tolerate and remain undisturbed even in the most trying circumstances of life. See, Bhagavatam explains in verse 10, 18, 2 and 3 that, see, while Krishna and Balram were enjoying life in Vrindavana, in the guise of ordinary cowherd boys, the summer season gradually appeared. So this season is not very pleasing, no, right? But however, because Supreme Personality of Godhead was personally staying in Vrindavan, along with Balarama, summer manifested the qualities of a spring. Such are the features of the land of Vrindavana. So with the presence of Krishna, summer is like spring. The Guru Maharaj says that we may have so many difficulties in our life, but when Krishna is present in the form of his names, everything becomes easy and tolerable. And the difficulties may be there, but they did not bite us so much. So we see from the past time of Prahlad Maharaja that even when he was put in the fire, he was not burnt by the fire element. Prabhupada writes in the purport 3:31:18, by the transcendental energy of the Lord, everything is possible. So Krishna makes us understand in this verse, one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. We should have a simple life. Simplicity attracts the mercy of Krishna. Prabhupada did not put so many complicated things to attract devotees. He had a simple Kartar and Bhagavatam. Thereby, he attracted so many living entities just by simplicity and purity. So tolerate and adjust. That's what Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advised in Shishashtakam, no? Trinadapi Sunichena, Tarorapi Sarishtuna, Amanina Manadena, Kirtaniya Sadahari. One can chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking himself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than the tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. See, miseries and difficulties are bound to come in our lives because we are in the conditioned material world. Krishna himself certifies this world as dukkhalayam ashashvatam. So still everyone is hankering for the temporary happiness. We don't want any difficulties, still it comes. But if it will go away, as nothing is permanent in this world. In order to face all these disturbances, the best solution given by Lord is to simply tolerate. We are not able to tolerate any small reverses in life, and we are so much agitated, all because we are not having enough faith in Krishna. He is our Supreme Father. We should understand that whatever happens to us is for our good only, because a father gives only the best to the children. The problem is we don't accept this fact. When we understand and accept this, we can tolerate any pains and sufferings, and will not be agitated in any circumstances, and we can live completely peaceful and satisfied. And then we can perform our sadhana with one pointed attention. See, Vidura, how much tolerant he was. Duryodhana insulted him so much, but he did not react. He just left. Same way with Kunti Maharani. She says, no, I wish that all those calamities would happen again and again, so that we could see you again and again. For seeing you means that we will no longer see the repeated births and deaths. See, we all know how much Kunti Maharani had faced almost so much miseries in her life. Still, she was so much tolerant. She was able to welcome the calamities again and again. She was a chaste devotee of the Lord. So she takes this as an opportunity to remember the lotus feet of the Lord, which gives us liberation. And moreover, the most difficult part is to tolerate to see the flourishing condition of others. Duryodhana is the best example. He was extremely envious when he saw the Pandavas living peacefully, even in the forest. And he wanted to create disturbances. See, especially when we see our friends, who is in our equal position. Suddenly, if they get any promotion, buy a new car, a new house, or be any other prosperous situation, we are not able to tolerate it. This is very dangerous. And this tendency we should avoid. Always we should have the strong belief that whatever is within our quota, we are sure to get it. And whatever is not within our quota, how hard we try, it is not at all possible to have it. So why unnecessarily waste our energy and time in everything, in these things? So by so doing, we spoil our health also. As of now, we don't lack anything. Why should we hanker for something which we don't need? So let us all pray to the Almighty Lord Krishna and Guru to give us the strength to tolerate and adjust the difficulties in any circumstances and to perform our devotional service without any deviation by reciting this wonderful prayer from Srimad Bhagavatam 4:20-31 every day. Tvanmayayadhya janajisha khandito yadanyadasastaratmano buddha yatacharet balahitam pita swayam tata tvamevarhasina samhitum. He says, my Lord, due to your illusory energy, all living beings in this material world have forgotten their real constitutional position, and they're always desirous of material happiness in the form of society, friendship, and love. See, now you just listen. Therefore, please do not ask me to take any material benefit from you. See, very nice. Therefore, please, he's asking, telling the God, Lord, therefore, please do not ask me to take any material benefit from you. But as a father, not waiting for the son's demand, does everything for the benefit of the son. So he's asking, please bestow upon me whatever you think is best for me. This reminds of the 2.7 verse. Krishna is telling, Arjuna is telling, surrendering him and telling, please instruct me what is beneficial for me. Thank you very much, Prabhu Mataji. Karantra Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.